Hello there, Padawan learners, Jedi Masters, and lore legends. Welcome to the Bendu Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 15 of the Bendu Podcast, where we seek balance in the Force. We have our hosts. We're short one host tonight. He may come in later. Nightcrawler might come in later. But we have Josh. What up, bro?
What is going on? So glad to be here. Let's talk about Ray's mom.
Yes, let's do it. Nate Johns, what's up, brother? How's it going?
Hey, guys.
I got to say, I'm very impressed because you got the beard going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
So is it just because of the colder weather or what?
I mean, a little bit. I started it when the marathon training started, so
yeah,
keep it at least until then, probably. We'll see.
It looks
shave
good
off the day before.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
Looking very Kenobi.
I know, right?
I was actually thinking that a little bit.
Yeah, very Kenobi.
Kenobi. So tonight, guys, we got lots to talk about. Actually, there's news about 3 new games coming out for Star Wars. Actually, quite a few Star Wars video games coming out. And then, of course, we got to catch everyone up on the Book of Boba Fett. So there will be spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, then just come and listen to this later. So, but there will be spoilers here in the podcast because we got lots of stuff to talk about theory-wise. And we got, 2 more episodes left to the Book of Boba Fett. So, yep. Woo! Here we go. All right, guys. So, rumors and news. The news is Respawn is doing 3 new Star Wars games. One of those is a FPS by Respawn, like a first-person shooter. Another is a strategy game, and then Jedi Fallen Order 2, of course. So, are you guys excited? What do you think about the news? I mean, we also got Lego Skywalker Saga and things like that, but what do you guys think? Are you excited for this?
So excited. Like, Respawn knows what's up, right? Like,
yeah,
they know shooters. We already know the Fallen
Jedi Fallen Order. Come on, Josh.
Yeah. Well, I was like, wait a minute. I'm right now. I'm looking at like different Star Wars things, and I'm like, Fallen Jet. No, it's not Fallen Jet. Like, yeah. So yeah, Fallen Order. Looking. I mean, we haven't seen anything yet, but I mean, we just know we're in for the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, are you guys a little bummed out we're not seeing another Battlefront?
I'll let Nate go first. He was going to say something.
I mean, I would say, yeah, Battlefront, that's where I would be more excited. But who knows, maybe Respawn will take up that mantle with their FPS. I know Battlefront has had that toggle between third and first, but who knows? Maybe Respawn will take that up.
I mean, for me, the state of Battlefront 2 has been pretty bad the last, 2 months, 3 months, like with the 1% health bug and things like that in Battlefront 2. It's still a fun game, but it's just full of sweats now. Like everyone's a sweat, and it's just not as fun. So I think there needs to be a freshening up. And I absolutely love Apex, and I think Titanfall, Apex, the track record there with Respawn is really solid. So I am extremely excited for a first-person shooter for this, man.
So like VR.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with a Star Wars VR. Like it would kind of work
for real.
Yeah.
The other thing is I would love to see him get kind of creative with this and like maybe shake up the typical formula. Like I would love to see kind of like the battle of like they kind of do this in Battlefront a little bit, but it's not. You know how the I don't know what the mode is called, but like you're on Endor and the AT-ATs are walking and you're trying to stop them, right? But I would love to see something more Titanfall-esque where like maybe you're taking on AT-STs and destroying those things in different ways. having some of the movement that you have in Titanfall. Maybe it's like maybe you're playing as, you know, Jedis versus machines kind of thing. You know, I don't know if these could be canon or whatever the case may be, but
give us High Republic.
Yeah.
Tons of Jedi there. I mean, there are enough Jedi at that point. You can justify having a ton all out there, or some of the enemy that they have there, the Nile, would be very interesting to have in a first person, or if they could, there's so many options.
Yeah.
There really is. And I want to see, I would love it if this new Star Wars game kind of scratched that itch for everybody that's been waiting for a third Titanfall. That if it was like, you know, like, yo, if you're a Titanfall fan, you don't want to miss this next installment of or this next game from Respawn.
But is there anything that can replace that Titan mechanic in the Star Wars universe?
I'm sure there is. I mean, there's like AT-ATs and AT-STs, and you know,
it's not the same.
But it's Star Wars. So I don't know. I mean,
but if really it was hard. High Republic, do they have the freedom to kind of invent some new machines? You know what I mean? I mean, if you think about like episode 2 and 3, when we were seeing the Clone Wars, and it was like you're seeing these like bug looking walkers and like all these different like it could, but everything in Star Wars has always been relatively slow. It seems like very just menacing, right? Like they just
except for the speeder bikes.
Except for the speeder bikes, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like what Nate said too. I don't know that it's the kind of thing that we want to just sit in, or like basically like have somewhat of a battle, like a Battlefront clone, right? Yeah. Like something that's new, like High Republic, that you're like, we've never experienced this. It's assumably canon, right? But at the same time, like a lot of the stuff I'm seeing too is like kind of like a Bad Batch, or what was the Republic Commando?
Oh, you know, dude, yeah,
something that style that was like, you know, if it was a super great like 4-player co-op or even 6, if it was the whole Bad Batch and you're like, yo, awesome. I've got to snipe and I've got to play this role, and they really designed the game almost like Rainbow Six style. Like there's so much that we can, you know, we can speculate. So
that would be actually pretty cool, because like Wrecker could be like your heavy type, you know, assault trooper. You know, you got your Hunter, which is more of an assault class, and that would actually work really well. Josh, you had a great idea.
I'm here, Respawn. What do you need?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only thing I'm not really excited about with these 3 games announced by Respawn is the strategy game. Like, it sounds like it's probably going to be another mobile game. I don't know.
So let me push back on it a little bit, because I don't know if you guys played any of the Star Wars RTS games, or even like the there's something to be said if you've played like Halo Wars or like I've not played a lot of PC RTS games, right? But like Halo Wars is a great example of like those games are a blast. Seeing like an army of warthogs come flying in, or if you saw like just a mass amount of speeder bikes come flying in and just wiping stuff out, and like you've got speeders and ATSTs and like massive war going on. If they really like, again, take it to that next level, make it modern. We can't just fall back on the old style RTS, but what can be done to really make it Star Wars? But I mean, you start adding the heroes in, and you get there's a lot of fun to be had there if it's in the right hands and it's done well.
Yeah, I almost want to see something bigger from a strategy perspective, almost more on the scale, like
Halo Wars.
I've never played Halo Wars, but it's just not like one single map. It's like, you know, building the resources, almost more like a Civilization or something, that strategy direction, where it's and then even spanning systems.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like RTS games are so dated now. Like, it's just, I know there's people that love them, but like, I just feel
Age
like
of Empires 4.
Yeah,
that got a lot of good press and good reviews.
Yeah, but how long are people playing those games? Like a couple of weeks?
People are still playing StarCraft.
That's true. I guess
Or
that
Warcraft.
there's a certain demographic, I guess, that really loves RTS type games.
Well, and if it's a live game, right, that's like continually being added to and growing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's EA, so I'm assuming that's very much a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it's Respawn. Look what they've done with Apex. Like, they've continually improved that game. They've. You don't hear a lot of people speak negatively about Apex.
That's true.
Like, it just doesn't happen that much. So I mean, like, but again, you guys mentioned early on, if it was a Star Wars BR, like, and what if they even get a little crossover going? What if we got a little Star Wars crossover? We already had a little bit. They've got some. They've got the what are they called? The little trinkets on the guns or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You can get, if you played Squadrons, you got like a
little emblem or something on the gun.
Well, it's a helmet. It's just like
yeah.
It like I can't think of the word. It's like a trinket, but there's another term for it. It's like how I have on Halo. I've got the Elite controller hanging on the side, right? So
yeah.
So we've already seen a little Star Wars crossover with Apex. So who knows? Like little marketing there would be great.
Yeah, I think it would be really, really cool to just see what Respawn's going to do with their track record of all their FPS games that they've made. So pretty stoked about it. I'm pretty stoked about Jedi Fallen Order. We kind of talked about it last podcast a little bit about where they would go, but I mean, we saw it in the Book of Boba Fett. We saw a BD droid. So I mean,
even caught that reference.
Yes. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you think Jedi Fallen Order, we could see a Cal Kestis that maybe traveled to Tatooine, or like, what do you think's next for these guys?
They've given us so much to speculate about, right? Like, I lost my mind when I was watching Boba Fett and that happened. I was like immediately in the chat. I'm like, have you guys seen this yet? Have you seen this yet? They're like, not yet. I'm like, okay, I'll just message Mule. I know Mule's seen it. So
we started DMing. We were like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some possible like bleed over into I have to stay. This takes place before, but I mean, let's say Cal survives. What if they fast forward till after the fall of the Empire and they do start
I mean, he could be an older Jedi to help Luke a little bit, because he's definitely a little older than Luke is. So, and he'd been around with the original Jedi Order, so maybe he's the bridge to kind of some of the stuff that we could see in the Book of Boba Fett or in Jedi Fallen Order. And Jedi Fallen Order is all canon, so we might see some really cool crossover there.
Wouldn't there also be the possibility to see him in, possibly even in? Well, he'd be younger then. Like, could he be in Obi-Wan?
I mean, he could, yeah.
Because that's Tatooine. I wonder if it ends up being his same droid. Like,
yeah,
if that's how they tied it in.
Definitely could.
There's so much they can do with them, and like I don't know. If the game went a route where he was on Tatooine and maybe even fighting with Maul and stuff like that to kind of tie back to Dathomir and that kind of thing that we really got to explore in that first game. Like,
yeah.
It could be kind of, I don't know. That could be kind of cool.
I don't know. It's just good. We'll talk more about it when we talk about Book of Boba Fett, but I think there's some legit theories out there now of what we could see and the reason they were teasing it. Because it was just the things that they made BD Unit do was too much like what happens in Jedi Fallen Order. And I'm like, okay, that's not confirmed. That's the BD1 from Jedi Fallen Order. But
has it been confirmed?
It is not. It has not been confirmed, but we've never seen another BD unit. And we know there's plenty of other droids out there, so there could be other BD units, but still, it's like the things they made them do was very similar to Jedi Fallen Order, especially like the hurt foot and things like that. It's just like,
I mean,
what are you trying to say here?
That could just be what a BD droid does.
True. It could be just all like a big Easter egg.
You see lots of translator droids.
Yeah,
They all do what
that's true.
C-3PO does.
Exactly. That's true. So one other thing I wanted to say before we jump into Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, is Eclipse. I've been hearing lots and lots of rumors about Star Wars Eclipse. One of those is really big, which I'm hearing that this is actually going to be an open world game. And Thaddeus says, so you're saying there's a chance? So yeah, open world game, which from what I'm hearing, this is very credible. It's an open world game that's going to allow you to play multiple characters, which we kind of knew would probably be a possibility,
yeah.
but also a competitive multiplayer element that's going to be in the game. And it's almost going to be, from what some are saying, almost like a live service game. I mean, do you want that? I kind of want an open world.
I don't need one. I mean, having played like Detroit, I wouldn't call it open, but you definitely get some exploration in there, just trying to go through it. So maybe they're expanding on that. But I'm fine with just a good story.
Yeah. Josh,
what do you like? We say open world. Like, are we talking like Skyrim style?
non-linear, so you can have the storyline, but you can compete it, I guess, at whatever pace you want to do, or whatever you want to do is you can basically just go around the open world and do what you want. Almost, I guess, I would assume similar to like
Halo Infinite.
No, because Halo's still kind of linear in a sense. Maybe more like a Valhalla or something like that, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I see.
Where it's very open world and you have tons of missions and things you can do, but you can kind of get sidetracked or go with the main story. You can kind of do whatever you want.
I think multiple characters would make that almost too complex. You need to have some sort of driving force.
Well, maybe that's the multiplayer part, where like you basically can play the main storyline and then you can play one of the other characters to kind of do other open world stuff.
Well, this is the Detroit team, right? Detroit. So, I mean, that's which also they also did. What was that? Heavy Rain? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Two Souls.
Yeah. So it's very much in their wheelhouse for that style of game, which I mean, but also open world at the same time, right? Like, I know Heavy Rain was if I remember correctly, it was fairly linear. Was it? I think
it was, but you had like some freedom within each of the missions
to
discover things. And the big thing about them is it may be open world, but you can just have so many different endings and different playthroughs.
Yeah.
So it's very branching story-wise. What you do really does matter.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about with Detroit last time, where it's just, I mean, the mission maps in those are ridiculous. And like you talk to anybody who's played Detroit, and I guarantee they've had a slightly different ending.
Yeah. We just got the trailer playing here as we kind of go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it'd be interesting to see how they're going to do this, if they're going to have multiple playable characters and then also give you a competitive multiplayer element in this game. Because when you look at this trailer that we're kind of watching together, it just screams single player to me. I don't know how they're going to do the multiplayer, kind of like you were saying, Nate. Like, it might be too much having all these multiple characters, unless it's just going to be this massive open world after you complete the final campaign.
I mean, if they go... So just think about other games like GTA 5. That single player story, you had 3 different characters you could switch between at any time. Sometimes during missions they switched you between them, but it had it had that, and that's pretty open world, but it also had a completely separate multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it could be like that.
That's true. I mean, Thaddeus said in chat, give me Red Dead Redemption meets Star Wars. I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
I'm even thinking games like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, or even like the Arkham games, where it's like you do have a story, but you have so many branching paths that you can do all these little side missions and things like that. But at the same time, I feel like the pedigree of this studio it might be more fleshed out than that. Not just your, not just your run of the mill. Here's the story. Here's objectives. Have fun, but like go like. I mean, almost in a way, I'm wondering if it'll be a little bit BioShock. I'm sorry, Mass Effect-esque, where like you
That
might
would-
have,
Yeah.
where some characters, if they die, it changes the whole outcome of the game, and it changes the outcome of your future games if you have your save moving forward, right? So,
that's what Detroit is. You can have, I think there's one or two of them, you can have them die early in the game and completely miss their branch of the story.
Dang.
Hello, Nightcrawler.
Hello.
Crawler's here. What's up, brother?
The baby.
I love it. So we're talking some of the rumors about Eclipse, Crawler. So welcome in, brother. Glad you could make it here.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, like, one of the rumors is multiple playable characters, but also a competitive multiplayer element. And we're just wondering how that's going to work, since when you're watching the trailer, it feels like such a single player game.
Well,
So
and
it's
coming
like-
from a studio that's such a single player pedigree
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So it's like, how can they make that work, especially if we know for sure there's going to be multiple different characters you get to play, like Detroit Become Human. But it's like, I don't know. It might be exactly like you just said, Josh, where it's like Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda, where you have the single player game, and then after that's done, you have like a supplemental multiplayer element to the open worldness of the game, or maybe like dungeons or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, if it was the kind of thing where they added, if we get to build out our character and then we all get to jump in together and do things like strikes or a potential raid or something, like that would be amazing. I mean, could you imagine doing? I mean, it'd be very similar to the Destiny raids and stuff. But could you imagine doing raids with a Jedi and the kind of puzzles that they could create and everything? But
Well, this
but
is
at the
High
same-
Republic, so it's going to be lots of Jedi running around as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the trickiest part would be like trying to, and you run into it with Destiny as well, where it's like you have so many different powers, and then something ends up being like way OP, for the raids or whatever. But like, I don't know, I love that idea of like,
So-
not only getting to work together, but then the possibility of like, what is the relevance of Eclipse, the dark overshadowing the light, and like, are we going to get the choice to go to the dark side? And
I mean, Plagueis is alive at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's 200 years. I don't know, how long did Plagueis live? I don't even know.
I'm not sure on that, actually. But I mean, it makes it like Rindeman had a good question in chat. He said co-op. I mean, it said competitive multiplayer elements, so I would assume that would mean like co-op of some kind. Unless they're just doing like a straight up like every man for himself PvP kind of
Here's
thing.
your BR. Here's your Star Wars BR.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Welcome to Geonosis. Defend yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Who can speak bug the best or survive? Yeah. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot there that we could really, really enjoy, So now we've kind of gone through the video games. So let's talk the Book of Boba Fett, guys. We've kind of been waiting for this. Yes, I'd like to see the baby. So, okay, there's spoilers, of course, guys. So if you're watching it and you don't want to know spoilers, then just come back and watch this later. But yes, I want to hear y'all's thoughts on all the episodes, because we've missed 2 since the last podcast. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on these new episodes. We got 2 more left. Where do you think it's going? What are you liking? What are you not liking?
I'm watching it right now.
Of course you are.
I think we're being set up to be left on a cliffhanger until the end of the year. I really do. I think this is building to, especially this last episode where Boba wasn't even present. I think we're being built up to whatever's going to happen in Mando season 3. I
Yeah.
really I don't know if there's going to be much of a conclusion, because the buildup was kind of almost put on pause this last week, and Din Djarin is apparently got some. He's got to go see a baby.
I would like to see the baby.
Before he can help Boba Fett. So I mean, who knows if maybe we're gonna get to see the Jedi. There's rumors that we're maybe gonna see Ben Solo next episode. I mean, because he would be 4 or 5 years old. He would be a youngling with Grogu, and who knows what we could see in the next episode.
See, that theory doesn't work though, because technically I don't think he actually went to Luke until he's around 10 or 11, maybe like 12 in some cases, I think some people said. So I think that's too early for Kylo Ren or Ben Solo.
You could make it if like you just have randomly that he's visiting with his parents to see Luke or something, versus
or if they're
actually
fixing the sequels.
He said it. He went there. No. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. But I heard one theory that the reason why Mando got the Naboo starfighter was because he's going to go to Naboo. I guess that's where Luke and Grogu are going to be or whatever. Or, I mean, sorry, he's not going to go to Naboo. That Obi-Wan went to Naboo to find the origins of Sidious and kind of stuff that happened with Padme, and the Naboo fighter, he had to take it from Naboo back to Tatooine to get back to Tatooine. And so that's where they're saying that probably that's how that got on Tatooine, because it's so rare.
see that.
You know. That would be kind of rad.
I like that as a better explanation, as just a random Naboo starfighter.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So like I liked the episode. I thought it was really cool and really fun to see a lot of the stuff. But when we get as many Easter eggs as we got in this episode, it makes the galaxy feel small.
Yeah.
That everything takes place on these 5 planets, and that's it. First off, why is there a giant ass transport ship taking people from the Halo Ring, whatever that ring is called, to Tatooine? Like, not that many people are eager to go to Tatooine. I'm sorry. Like, it just seemed random. I don't know.
Maybe it's just a stop along the way.
I mean, I do like this. I did like the Star Tours reference. I did like the Star Tours reference, because Star Tours does go to Tatooine, doesn't it? And then finds itself in the Battle of Yavin as well. But so I mean that brings that into canon a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There were so many Easter eggs in this episode.
Yeah,
and everyone's calling for Bryce Dallas Howard to get her own trilogy as well.
I thought she did well. It was I felt like the whole episode was like a love story to Star Wars fans. Like, it was just like, let me throw in all these amazing references and tie everything into it. Like when Mando said wizard, like,
yeah, that
was cool, dude. Like, that was really cool, making that reference from Anakin, and like,
and
it was
the manifold, whatever it is that they put on in the starfighter is what Han and Luke were trying to brace the garbage compactor with.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I was trying. I was like, have you guys seen it yet? Have you seen it yet? Those are the pictures I was sending Mule like right away. I was like, dude, look at this.
This is for New Hope. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
And the wombat. I like the wombat in Beggar's Canyon as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall the I feel like this show is somewhat divisive within the Star Wars community. I feel like if you are not this feels like Disney saying sorry to the older generations that grew up with Star Wars about the sequels. Here, we're sorry about that. Here's this show, right? And then I feel like it seems like a lot of the younger generations, people that like, they're like, yo, I'm ready to be off of Tatooine. I'm ready to be done with, like, that's just kind of that's what I'm kind of seeing. So for I think for the majority of us here, we're just like, I'm eating this up. Right. Like,
yeah.
And then I hear people like, oh, the show's boring, or the show's like not like I'm not into it, and I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of that, and I'm just like, I've spent 40 years waiting to see how Boba got out of that, like,
Yeah.
you know. And it's a similar experience to, like, you guys probably remember when we watched A New Hope, and you heard Obi-Wan talk about the Clone Wars and like how we envisioned those. Granted, the what ended up being up on the screen was not nearly what close to what we had probably all envisioned, but
Yeah.
it was still that like, these are the, like, Dave and John know what we've all been thinking about when, like, we all kind of hung up on certain things on Star Wars. And this is one of those this is one of those shows, and especially that last episode that was like, yo, here is this love letter to the older fans. And I think the newer fans still are probably enjoying Mandalorian. And so this episode really probably helped help bridge that gap some. But it's just interesting. Like, I think a lot of people are ready for a new time period, a new, to get away from the Skywalker stuff for a while, and like, but not us.
I'm okay with all of it, man. Give me all of it. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. What I don't like, and it's kind of been established since Mando season 1, I guess, is that these rebel pilots have become space police. I don't like that. That's
the New Republic.
Pilots.
Yeah.
What else are they doing?
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, at this point, it's too early for First Order, so they've got to clean up what's going on with the remnants of the Empire, or at least attempt to. And so you got to have patrols and
yeah. Now, this comment that we have right now, Boba will be Mandalore just like he was in Legends, from John. I actually wanted to talk about this so bad, and I've been waiting to talk about this for so long, because I really do feel like, okay, I'm just going to go with my theory, guys. So just go with me on this train of thought for a little bit here. I got to tell a little backstory, everything, because it is a Legends comic by Dark Horse. It's Jango Fett Open Seasons. If you haven't read it, go to Comixology and purchase it. It's like 4 episodes, worth the read. 4 comic book series, but it is worth the read. It's all Legends, but here's the thing. As you read through these comics, you learn about Jango and how his father was the protector, the journeyman protector of Concord Dawn, right? Jango's father was. And Vizsla started this war in the Mandalorians, the Mandalorian Civil War, where he was going after the true Mandalorians, right? Who was Jaster Meereel. So Jaster Meereel is the guy, the emblem you see on Boba's chest, the signet. That's his house or his clan, right?
The mythosaur?
No, the actual it looks like an olive branch almost.
Oh, okay. Oh, on his crest. Okay, not his chest. Sigil.
Not his sigil. Yeah, it's like his clan, his house, basically. The great mythosaur is on his other shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So in this comic, it shows how Jango, his father, got met by Vizsla and these Death Watch Mandalorians, and basically took his father captive and his mother captive, because they wanted to know where Jaster was. End up killing his father. As he gets away, he runs into Jaster. Jaster takes him in, and he starts to fight with him. He even fights against Vizsla when he's a young age and shoots him in the head and thinks he killed him. He didn't, but that kind of was the end of the Mandalorian Civil War. You had the true Mandalorians, who were basically just Mandalorians that weren't as strict as Death Watch, right? They were more of the bounty hunter type Mandalorians that just kind of making their way through the galaxy, taking jobs, protecting their own, kind of a deal. Kind of like you see almost Din Djarin is right now. It's a little twist, but what happens eventually is Jango learns all these years how to fight from Jaster. He becomes an excellent Mandalorian. He basically is his second in command. He takes on this, they take on this bounty from this governor to go and destroy these people that are killing like women and children and things like that. Turns out that Vizsla went in coup with this governor and set them up to have an ambush. They ambushed Jaster and Boba and Jango. They killed Jaster, who's Mandalore, basically. They kill him. and Django is almost killed, right? He's almost killed in this betrayal as well, because they call in the Jedi saying, hey, these Mandalorians are killing innocent women and children. And so these Jedi come in to take out Jaster and Django and all the other Mandalorians. And who's leading them other than Count Dooku? So this is where Dooku actually meets Django. Django goes back to the camp, tries to get there as quick as he can once he found out they were betrayed, ends up killing like 5 Jedi with his bare hands, right? And then gets taken captive by the governor and sold into slavery. He eventually gets out when pirates attack the ship, and he goes to take his Mandalorian armor back from the governor who stole it from him, which is a cool callback because you notice in Clone Wars, it talks about how he stole his armor and they don't know how he got it. Well, that's just a lie from Death Watch and the Vizslas, House Vizsla and all that, right? Trying to discredit Django from being a Mandalorian. Toward the end, he ends up basically killing Vizsla in this big fight. And at the very end of the comic, he's sitting down with Dooku talking about being the clone template and why he thinks he could be the clone template, and, because of what he saw. And then Dooku's kind of shocked because he's like, I didn't think you as a sentimental kind of guy wanting a son, because he told him he wanted a clone template. He goes, I don't want a son. I want an apprentice who will take on the legacy of Jaster Miro. And so I really do think that Filoni gave us a hint when the armorer said, hey, in Legends, the great mythosaur will rise and help establish a new Mandalorian era. So I really think the great mythosaur on Boba's shoulder, he's going to kind of rise up and take that legacy of Jaster Miro and help like Din become the true leader of the Mandalorians. He's not going to be the leader of the Mandalore. He's not going to be Mandalore. I think he definitely wants to set up his own house and be reestablished with the Mandalorians, but I don't think he's going to be the Mandalore. I think he's going to have Din be the Mandalore. He's just going to be the great mythosaur rising. So that was long, but
correct me if I'm wrong, but Bo-Katan and Sabine are both from Concord Dawn as well, correct?
Sabine,
they were
I
not
believe,
on.
is.
They were not on Mandalore. They were on the moon, right?
Bo-Katan is from the actual Mandalore.
True. Yeah, her sister was. That's right.
Ren and them, I think, are on Concord Dawn, like Sabine Wren. So, so that, it sets up a ton of freaking opportunities and things they could do, man. And I really do think that Boba's going to be like, could you imagine? He basically gets Mando and all the other like lost Mandalorians, and they fight in this big battle, and then he allows Din to establish a Mandalorian base on Tatooine. Like,
see, I don't know if Boba. Yeah, I don't think Boba's leaving Tatooine.
He's not. I don't think he's ever going to leave Tatooine.
I think the end of this season will be Boba firmly established in Tatooine. I think that story is going to wrap up. There will be definitely threads to set up for Mando season 2. We basically saw episode 1 of season 3 this week. So,
yeah. But
we got to see the dome on Mandalore completely destroyed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. But there's just so much that could happen there. You could have Cal Kestis somewhere around because we talked about BD unit being around. Like,
I think that's just a little drag. I don't think that's going to lead to anything.
I want it to happen. Yeah.
I do. I wonder. Is Din going to bring back more muscle in the form of Luke? Is there?
I don't think Luke would dabble in that.
He wouldn't go to help Boba.
Yeah, especially the last time he saw Boba Fett.
Maybe they make up. I don't know.
It would be kind of a cool makeup story. Boba would be like, "What up, sucker?" Dude, have y'all seen that TikTok?
The Robot Chicken episode?
No. There's this guy, someone basically dubbed at the end of season 2 when Boba's fixing to fly back to Tatooine and then Luke is coming in. They had it where he's as he's flying by, he sees Luke's X-Wing and they look at each other and he goes like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, that would have been hilarious if something like that happened. You know, it gives him the bird and he's just like, see ya, you know, like,
I saw the Robot Chicken episode, like little sketch going around on TikTok as well, where Boba flies out and he's like, "Back from the dead, assholes!"
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's so great. It's so
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah, I mean, there's so much they can do. What do you think's going to happen going forward? Do you think what do we think we're going to see next, guys?
I mean, we've got
what do you
2
see
episodes
next?
left.
You mean the next 2 episodes, or
Yeah,
like I honestly have like really like just kind of lowered the expectations, and I'm like, it's probably just gonna be this fight on Tatooine, the Pikes, you know, like Boba riding a Rancor, 8 seconds.
He's gonna ride
you
a
know,
Rancor, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's
that
the
Rancor
one
grew up
big
pretty
exception.
quick.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
Rancor grew up pretty quick, big enough to put his claws through the grate pretty quickly.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'll be next weekend. Next week will be set up, or I guess in 2 days, kind of set up for a final battle. I mean, we kind of saw that with Mando season 2, even where they kind of built up to that, and then they had the final stuff
So
with Gideon.
I think Filoni is directing this next episode.
People are thinking maybe Ahsoka as well.
I mean, you could have Sabine. Like, there's something that's got to happen, right? We're going to see Grogu. We might see Luke. I mean, who do you think is going to train him how to use that darksaber? Because they're alluding to it. Like,
Sabine needs to be the one, especially with needing the refresher. And there were enough articles written as to why the darksaber was getting so heavy that there were links to the YouTube clips of like the entire Kanan Sabine training session in like season 5, I think, of
Season
3.
yeah.
Of why and how Sabine like was able to control the energy a little bit. So that would be interesting. And they already have Sabine cast, so I mean that's locked. Isn't that locked in for the Ahsoka series? I
I
believe.
don't think it's official that we know who Sabine is. I think there's speculation that someone who has been cast is Sabine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I was saying about like, you know, Din bringing muscle back, Ahsoka could very much be that muscle as well, right? Because if you think about the size of the Pikes, as of right now, it's like 120,000 to 3. You know, like there's a pretty like they've got to level the playing field. Of course, we're gonna see, you know, the Black Wookiee again, and I can't imagine him not showing back up, and and Turbo saying Jawas. We're gonna see the Jawas fight the Ewoks.
Jawa dates.
Yeah,
And I was wrong. It does look like Sabine has been officially cast, at least according to IMDb.
Okay, so we think probably not Luke, maybe Sabine. Like, I mean, it makes
That would make more
sense
sense.
because I feel like
Sabine and Ahsoka were together. What was the time? That was like 0 years after Battle of Endor, right? Like that was immediately following Battle of Endor. That epilogue of
yeah. I mean, her
Rebels
and
was?
they've been working together to try to find Thrawn and try to find Ezra.
Thrawn and Ezra, yeah.
So,
And this is 5 years after the fact, and Ahsoka was alone on a planet looking for Thrawn. So
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
Luke can forgive. His dad cut his hand off, and he still was like, "Dad," right?
Yeah, right.
So he could forgive Boba. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, he would obviously be the he would change the course of the battle for sure. You know, there'd be no question there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I kind of want either Sabine or Luke to teach him how to do it, because I really do think like that's the thing that we're seeing, right? We're seeing Mando that's got like a midlife crisis. Basically, he's so like torn in all of his thoughts and things like that. And so that's kind of why we're seeing him have difficulty with the darksaber, because, you know, he's having a really difficult time doing anything with like fighting. He almost felt like begrudging in that fight to kill that one guy with the bounty. Like he kind of was like, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Like he kind of reverted back to his old self. So I feel like he's kind of having a almost like not a midlife crisis, but like just to like, who am I? And dude, why didn't he just freaking tell the armorer, like, dude, I got the Darksaber. I'm the Mandalore. I make the rules. I'm still a Mandalorian.
Because she's in a cult. I mean,
I was about to say it's a cult thing. I think like
Yeah.
they're definitely portraying that little sect of Mandalorians as extremists.
yeah, and I mean they're kind of almost setting up Armor and Bo-Katan to face off against each other.
Yeah. And go ahead, Josh.
The armor they made for Grogu is like just like a chainmail, right? Is that kind of what they alluded
That's what
to?
we
That's
saw.
what it
Yeah.
alluded to, yeah.
Kind
Yeah. Yeah.
But what
I was
is
like,
it
why
going to
aren't
go
they should
over?
remake
Because
this
it's very small. It's only
Well, he's very small, right? It's gonna be
True.
like Frodo with that elf armor, you know, like the that's what'll end up being like.
the
But
magic chainmail underneath.
yeah, but I mean, they should have remade his little booster thing that got messed up, you know, so he could float around again. Like, but make it out of the Beskar, so it's like
Indestructible.
indestructible car seat for Grogu.
Dude, now that you're saying that about the armorer, I wanted to show this picture here. Look at her horns on her head.
Yeah,
Does that not look similar to the commandos that were true to Maul?
yeah.
Like-
I saw a theory about that like they may be that it may be like I saw Maul's helmet again, right? Because it's been a while since I've watched those,
Yeah.
and he's got the big spikes coming off of it and everything. So
Yeah.
like,
See if this camera will focus better.
Yeah.
Because this is from the challenge on Mandalore Lego set, and then that's the armor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. It looks almost exactly like the Maul commandos.
I mean, that'd be Filoni, right? And
Yeah.
Favreau just like here's one more thing for everybody, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. So Nate, he didn't say where do you think this is going? Just to build up on the next episode.
I think they're gonna build up next episode and resolve the Boba Fett stuff this season. Maybe he'll pop up a little bit in like a Mandalorian season 3, but I think this is a one shot, kind of like some of the other stuff we've seen. Like Ahsoka's gonna be an Obi-Wan. I think Mandalorian's gonna be their bread and butter in the Bad Batch of multi seasons.
Yeah.
But
I thought next we were going to get the VHS of Boba Fett, and then following that, the DVD of Boba Fett,
Then the Ultra Blu-ray,
the
and then
Blu-ray of Boba Fett, and then the digital deluxe of Boba Fett. That's how we hear his stories. So, but I mean, I do wonder if it's going to be build up, giant fight, and that's kind of it. Do you think we're going to go back and forth between whatever Din is up to? And I feel like if they have another episode that's like a lot of bouncing around, and if they show the back to tank one more time, I think people will lose their
he's
mind.
fully healed. He's fully healed.
I think we're done with that.
He's fully healed.
They've caught up to essentially present time with that. So I think they could use the Din stuff as instead of the flashbacks, essentially.
Yeah.
Now, if
Like
they
the
put the
time.
black Wookiee in the back to tank and he came out all wet,
Oh my god. Hey ladies.
Can he even fit in that?
I don't well
he's
that's
got
what she
his
said.
knees all up to his. He's like in the fetal position trying to fit. Boba's just like trying to close the lid on him.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
he's screaming the whole time.
What-
I'm here for it.
One thing I would love to see, and I mean, Boba probably has a grudge, but I'm hopeful that it plays into the fan theory that Mace saved Grogu, and if Mace is still alive, Boba has a big grudge against Mace for a good reason.
I don't know if they'll open that wound, man. I don't think they'll open that up again. I
That
think
seems
Mace
like too
is
much.
yeah, he's just
That would
done.
be too much.
I really do think that they did this whole book of Boba Fett to kind of interweave kind of his backstory and his redemption arc into creating a house. because I think we will see him cameo in The Mandalorian going forward. I think we might have a little kind of crossover because you can already see that Din respects Boba a lot because he's like, who for? And he's, when Fennec was telling him who's hired for it, he was like, oh, for Boba. And he's like, tell him it's on the house. Like, I feel like that was like telling of how close their relationship is getting. They're like bros.
I'm gonna make a little prediction here, and I'm gonna say it might behoove us to go back and watch the scene where Darth Vader tells Boba no disintegrations, and to see who all is there, the different bounty hunters, and to see how many of them might end up showing up for this.
I mean, I can almost tell you off the top of my
fight.
head. It's Bosk, it's Dengar, it's IG-88, it's isn't it Zosk and isn't that his name?
I think it's the name. Yeah.
And Zosk has a partner. Is it IG-88 that was partnered with Zosk? I don't remember.
Let's see. I can look it up real quick. Yeah, Zosk and Forlom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was the one we were missing.
I'm really anticipating a like Home Alone style battle where like they just set a bunch of traps and they make all the pikes fall into them in different ways. Like they're gonna drive them all to the Sarlacc for like a full circle.
Sarlacc's dead now, though.
Well, they'll just let him just go in that hole. The
Sarlacc is gone.
Well, there's got to be another one, right? I mean,
yeah. Here's a picture of all the bounty hunters right there. You can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, Zosk is just off screen because that's Forlom right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I'm here for Dengar. Bring him back. Bring him back.
Yeah. Well, sweet, guys. Well, I'm excited. I think these next 2 episodes are going to be really good. Really good, or at least we hope they're good.
So Boba is middle of the year, right? Is that confirmed?
Are you talking about? You mean Obi-Wan?
Sorry, yes, that's what I meant.
I believe May. I think they're saying like May 4th.
And then Ahsoka and Andor are next year, correct?
Yes. So Ahsoka is next year. So we're going to get Obi-Wan, and then around holiday we'll get Mando season 3.
Bad Batch too.
Yeah, Bad Batch. We have another Bad Batch.
Mount Tardis. We're gonna see what's going on.
Oh,
dang. We don't have confirmation, I don't think, for Obi-Wan yet. I think it's just speculation.
Yeah.
When's celebration? Around May the 4th?
May 4th. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are saying because it would kind of make sense to bridge the year.
And that is a Wednesday.
Yeah. That is true. It is a Wednesday.
Well, right ready for a random Star Wars fact?
Oh, you got one? Let's hear it, Josh.
Yeah. Let's hear it. So, David Prowse, the guy in the costume for Darth Vader, right?
Uh-huh.
Were you guys aware of the fact that he was banned from anything Star Wars?
Yes.
I think I've heard
why?
the story.
No.
Okay, so even the article I'm finding doesn't have the answer. I'm going to say it's a rumor, but apparently he, in an interview, said, wouldn't it be crazy if I was Luke's dad? He didn't even know. He guessed. And
because nobody had the lines. Nobody had the lines on that.
That is supposedly the reason that he was banned from all his what he says is that I burned too many bridges, but supposedly that's
an easy way to burn some bridges.
Yeah. He happened to guess, right?
He happened to guess it correctly.
Yeah. So there you go. One more kind of just a little funny random fact is that Carrie Fisher slapped Oscar Isaac over 40 times.
And she enjoyed it every second.
I'm guessing so. So there you go. And I will leave with this. If you guys get a chance to look up some of the deleted scenes I recently saw on TikTok where Vader reaches out to Luke at the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then he finishes putting his lightsaber together and puts it into R2. And it's a pretty cool scene.
I wish that scene had been left in.
A lot of people do, I think.
Or even, I don't know why George didn't put it into the special edition. Like,
yeah, especially since we see it's so prevalent in the sequels now that like Kylo and Rey reaching out, like, yeah, it's interesting. Yep. So anyway, there you go. There's some random Star Wars facts for you.
Love it, Josh. Love it. Well, guys, I think that's gonna about wrap us up. We're kind of hitting our mark here. And if you guys want to hang out, make sure you go to Halo Infinite on YouTube. We're about to have a Halo Infinite podcast on YouTube as well, so make sure you check that out. But guys, thanks for joining us. Make sure you visit mulehorngaming.com. Click on the podcast menu for more great podcasts like the Halo Infinite podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe for more great episodes. You can check out the description for our Amazon store link, Epic code, all those cool things that are there. Great ways to help us and support us. So, guys, as always, remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Master.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us all.